So you know I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Welcome to our third episode of the Leans recap of the Real Housewife of New York City. We are so happy to have all of you guys here. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoyed the episode about as much as we did. Shantae, hey, how are you doing, sweetie?
Hey, happy to see you again. And I love that pink on you. Looking really
I love that green. I was just about to say, I love that every single time we record a show, you find someplace new in your place that you're like, I'm going to pop up here. I'm going to record right here. I love that. And then,
yes, I'm experimenting.
Find it. Keep the people guessing. I did that for like the first year I was doing recaps. There was different parts of my apartment that I was in. It looks like we had Love that was with us. It looks like she's experiencing some technical difficulty. There she is.
I have been found.
Hello. Been found. For those of you who tuned in last week, Love was out of rotation last week, but she's back with us. So it's good to see you.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. It was dreadful. I hated every day with you guys.
Well, we are reunited, and I'm very, very happy to have the three of y'all here for our first solo 3 rotation show together. So let's go ahead and we'll jump right into it. You know, Love, we had a lot of thoughts about the Pajama Gate, as we called it last week. So before we jump in, I know that you probably had some thoughts. What were your thoughts at the end of last week's episode with Jessel making that huge fuss over the ugly Christmas tree pajamas that Jenna bought her?
I think that Jessel is lucky that she's in the cast that she's in and the time that she's in, because if that moment was inserted anywhere else, it would have been a moment. So she was lucky that happened and the cosmos were on her side. I thought that was the most sailed by, scotch clean, avoiding a cuss out I've ever seen in Housewives history. I was like, oh, she made it out.
Yeah. Because like Dorinda has cussed people out for far less.
For less. Less. So I was shocked. So okay, she got out of that. That was a clean moment. She survived, unscathed.
Well, it's the next morning. They're still at this house, and surprise, surprise, the ladies are all complaining yet the fuck again. So now they're complaining about the lack of heat. They start complaining that Jenna apparently had left the previous night. They're very upset that she didn't say goodbye, but then we see a flashback of all of them literally talking to Jenna and her explaining why she was leaving. She had a 6:30 a.m. work call and she didn't want to put a damper on anybody's night. So her house was literally 10 minutes away. So she decided just to sneak away and let them have their night. Well, surprisingly, Uba is one of the ones that is the most upset. She's being very vocal about how she thought it was rude as hell, how she couldn't believe that Jenna did that. Aaron makes a comment that, Jenna doesn't deserve a room, so I'm going to go ahead and give her room to Brynn. Everybody is surprisingly taking this really hard that Jenna just decided, okay, I'm going to sleep somewhere else for the night. They start talking about this damn sharshuka, how Jenna was disgusted with it, how she wouldn't let them cook it. And we get another flashback of Jenna just kind of remarking like, hey, I don't eat before a workout, so I'm not going to be eating that. Jessel remarks, hey, maybe she left because she has a house by the ocean and would prefer to wake up with her view rather than yours. And again, I'm like, Jessel, do you ever think about what comes out of your mouth? But I kind of love that they throw shade at Aaron any little opportunity that they get. Like they are just
any chance.
This lady, any chance. Her face, what they talked about how cold it was, what they talked about not being able to eat, but any little thing, Aaron is just like a ticking time bomb ready to just like explode on it. So before we move into Jenna actually coming back, what are y'all thoughts about them being this upset about her sneaking out, particularly after we see what actually transpired? Love, I'll let you start off.
I think the core of the irritation probably comes from the fact that they knew the real reason why she left. And it was kind of like, come on, girl, like, have your moment. You know what I'm saying? You're irritated about what she was saying about the lingerie. So I think the core of the whole being like, well, she just left. It's because it's like, girl, we see right through it. Just say that you got your feelings hurt. It was rude, you know? But the 6:30 a.m. call, girl, One of them said something like, well, that's not what we agreed to. Like, we all agreed to be together, AKA behind the scenes. We're supposed to film in the same house. No one else sneaks off and gets to lay elsewhere. It's okay, we get it. You live 10 minutes away. Good for you. But we all film, we all in the same house. We all really don't want to be here, but we want to be here. So I think that's what the core irritation was, well, why did you just leave?
Interesting take. Okay, before we dive into that, Shantae, what are your thoughts?
Listen, I think deep down, those women wanted to go with Jenna because that house was cold. They didn't have no food. They freezing and starving, and she has her nice house by the ocean. I'm telling you, they were hating because happy hoes ain't hating hoes ain't happy.
Hating hoes
They would have loved to be in Jenna's warm house by the ocean. All of them would have done the same thing. And I would have done the same thing. You're not freezing me and starving me and making fun of gifts that I brought you.
That's 3 strikes.
And me stay there when my warm, hate-free house is 10 minutes away.
Not hate-free.
That was not rude. Yes, I would have left too. I did not blame Jenna. And I was happy for her. And the people who weren't happy for her wish they were there with her. That's what I think.
See, Shantae, I was on, like, that was my thought process. But then hearing Love say, like, hey, it's a cast trip. Obviously, everybody shows up for work. Everybody signs, a contract. This is what we're doing. And I can definitely see where they would be like, yo, we don't have the luxury to leave just because we're uncomfortable or because we've got work. So I think it may be a mixture of both. And obviously Jenna has been very transparent on, I don't really hang out with bitches like this. I'm not in groups of women. I'm not having sleepovers. This is a totally new experience. And I think Jenna Lyons is used to being Jenna Lyons. So when I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to remove myself from a situation I'm uncomfortable in. And whether that discomfort is my gift not being accepted, it's too damn cold, or you bitches are loud and I want to sleep. Like, my comfort comes first. So I'm interested to see how this plays out through the season, because we all have watched Housewives franchises for years. Discomfort is kind of the name of the game, right? Like, you're supposed to be uncomfortable in situations.
That's what you signed up for.
So we'll see. So Jenna does come back. She actually has multiple cups of coffee for people. She's saying hi. The Erin starts saying she's, I'm so angry. I'm getting more upset. I'm like, girl, come on. It's not that serious, but okay. So Jenna starts talking about there was a storm, and Erin once again is passive aggressive, saying, well, there was no storm here. We slept great. Right off the bat, they start going in on Jenna, which I thought was a little like, okay, it's 8 a.m, right? Everybody's kind of laying into her how mad they are about it. So Jenna is very calm in this. Hey, I had a 6 a.m. work call. Your music was loud. I didn't want to interrupt the vibe. So I just decided that I was gonna leave. This is where I'm kind of not on their side. They're like, oh, well, she's being geriatric. She doesn't want to have fun. It was 10 o'clock at night, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, but had she asked you guys to be quiet, had she said it's too loud, I'm trying to sleep, y'all still would have been mad. So, like, I'm really trying to figure out what the best course of action was for Jenna Lyons, who didn't want to get drunk and, like, twerk with people like they were doing, like the flashback show. So, they start complaining about she is the reason why Erin didn't cook and they're all hungry. Because she said she didn't want shashuka, that Erin decided she wasn't going to cook for anybody. And Jenna makes a good point, saying, well, y'all are all adults. If y'all wanted to cook. I didn't need to eat. So far, I'm keeping score. Jenna is the only one in this group who has not complained about a single thing in Erin's home. And yet she's being attacked for being rude, for being inhospitable, for being ungrateful. So did y'all keep score the same way I did? Because I was confused.
Jenna everything's lovely. Everything has been lovely so far, according to Jenna.
Well, it's also the oldest housewife trick in the book. You go after, the queen bees. And if Jenna, has this big reputation and, this big following, this illustrious career, you're gonna want to pick fights with her to get camera time, So I think she has not done half of the complaining or naughty guest behavior as all the other wives. And like I said, she had very good reason to pull herself out of that situation. And because she also had the business call, like you said, and they were making all that noise, she did what she needed to do, ask for forgiveness later, which I think is always the best thing. And the fact that Sai was making all those comments about her being, you know, the grandma, the geriatric person doing the age shaming and all that, it just made me feel once again that some of them aren't as close as they say they are. They're not really friends. These are co-workers, you know? So she is acting accordingly. These aren't her best friends that she owes loyalty to. These are her co-workers that, you know, maybe some of them she actually likes somewhat, you know, but again, some of them were being rude to her face, aka Jessel, you know, and then Sai's confessional behind her back with the age shaming, that was not cool. So again, I don't blame her for going to her beautiful house by the ocean and doing what she needs to do.
You know, love, I think it was, I mean, Shantae and I had talked about this last week, but I think you and I on the very first episode, we did mark that like Jenna was kind of the celebrity. Like, you know, she was the name recognition that got attached to the show. Like when it got announced, everybody was like, oh, Jenna Lyons, she used to work for J. Crew. She was big in the social scene. We had some people last week saying when she was outed by the New York Post, they remember that story happening because they lived in New York. Like Jenna Lyons was the name that kind of got this reboot some of the buzz. And so like what we're seeing is probably one of the Housewives, but probably across any franchise, with some of the biggest name recognition out of their first season, right? Coming in with name recognition, you know, being probably like the least needy, the least rude, the least haughty, the least like demanding of certain things. And we're seeing these like Instagram influencers demanding that their accommodations be this and that they eat this. So and I can agree with you, Shantae, that it's Jenna Lyons. If you're going to have beef with somebody, let's kind of pick at the one whose people are wanting to see what they're going to do and see how that plays out. I mean, we see it later in the episode with Brynn kind of attaching her issue to Jenna's bandwagon, thinking that that's going to get her a little more sympathy or something, but we'll discuss that later. So I agree, both of y'all, very good points. Jenna probably could have stayed, but she probably was annoyed at these bitches. But she also was like, I'm uncomfortable. I got to go. So we get a couple montage. They have a trainer. Trainer is fine as hell. Uba starts flirting. Uba looks phenomenal in this little like workout getup, like and no makeup. Although she probably had, like I don't know, she just looks amazing. She mentioned she doesn't work out, but she absolutely is going to work out. So the ladies are doing yoga or something outside, and then this is where we see Brynn show up. So we find out that she's feeling better. Big Brynn. I know you love her. I'm interested to see where you stand with her after this because she kind of got on my nerves. Like she immediately gets out of the car. She's complaining about the location. Is this cute for the Hamptons? I mean, South is where it's at, but this is cute too. There's nobody here to greet me. Nobody here to get my bags. I'm like, where's your summer house? Like, where are you staying? Let's see where you're living right now. Because you have a lot to say. But she comes in and she's doing Brynn. She's flirting with the trainer and she's laughing and she's kind of diverting attention from the camera onto her by being as loud and obnoxious as so after that they go back inside. Aaron starts bitching about Jenna leaving again, telling her the next time that Jenna needs to just let them know and she would have turned down the music to make Jenna comfortable. Did you believe that for a second, that Aaron would have done that and not complained to Jenna?
Not at all.
Not for a second.
Not for a second.
So we see off in the, and this is where it really the annoyance for Brynn kind of started for me. So they're in the kitchen with Uba, and Uba kind of starts filling her in about what happened last night. She's telling her about Jenna leaving, and Uba's just really kind of egging the situation on and making it seem like it was this big, blow up. And immediately Brynn feels victimized because why does Jenna get a pass when I purposely lied about going to a restaurant and I kikied about it and I posted on Instagram that I missed your restaurant and I had a good time and I said I wouldn't be caught dead? Why are you mad at me and not at Jenna Lyons? Uba says, well, punishment needs to be bigger because this is a big deal. And There's something about that just seems so disingenuous. Like it screams camera time. So, Shantae, what are your thoughts? And then we'll come back to Brynn's #1 fan.
Okay, so we do love Brynn over here, and this is one of those moments where you can love somebody but not like what they do, because that's where I was at. Because as much as Brynn is so funny in the confessionals, and she does bring the flirty kind of fun energy, you see here that she has a little side to her, and she was definitely trying to get Jenna in trouble. I felt like, because Erin and her, had that falling out over the restaurant, soon as she sensed that, Jenna was getting kind of unfair, I guess, forgiveness to her, then she wanted to drag Jenna down, and she kind of made the campaign with the other ladies, like, oh, let's get her in more trouble,
Yeah.
So there's a little toxic side to her that we see come out in different ways this episode, because that dating advice was also bad. But the way she was trying to get Jenna in trouble too was not cool, and I did not like to see that. So what did you guys think?
Love.
I think that Brynn is clearly the housewife that has studied the show. I think she came in with the energy of, I know what I want to do. I know how to do it. I've studied this show. I've been watching it since I was 8. If you think about it, New York has been on for years, So I think she's manufacturing things, and she knows how to create a moment. I think we're seeing her trying to become the shit stirrer. She's trying to work for the check. If there's empty moments, she's going to try to be the filler. I see that in her. I see the confessionals, the wit, the funny jokes, the camera time on me. I could see her trying to create a name for herself, kind of cement herself.
Yeah.
Watch her be sitting next to Andy at the reunion.
Oh, I hope not. Look,
I can see that.
I love a cast member who comes in understanding the assignment, like understands that, like, hey, I'm gonna get it popping. I wanna be known as the fun one. I want to make the sound, but like, we get it. Every franchise has that,
right?
But I think with Brynn, it's been so uneven. So like 1 minute she's funny, and then 1 minute she's a shit stirrer. But what we've seen when she gets pressed, when Erin stood up to her and started to press her on what she did, she backed off immediately. It was, you're right. I apologize. That was so wrong of me. And I'm like, but
that's so Housewives.
You're all
that's so Housewives.
Ramona ain't never got punked like that on camera.
That is true. That is true. That is very true.
If you're gonna be the shit stirrer, if you're gonna go there and talk shit about people and like purposely like try to drum up stuff, when you're approached with it, like either stand in it or don't bring it out. Like, because
I agree. That's so true. Kind of like Giselle, like because that will start to irritate me. You're right. Oh my God, Brynn, please do not start doing this. Jamie, that is such a good point. That is such a good point. Ooh, because that will start to go down fast.
I like her. She's endearing. She's funny, but you can tell like she's trying a little hard.
Right. Well, I also think though that Erin is proving to be more of the queen bee than she is. And I think maybe she was trying to branch off with Sai and, get her own little high, but Erin is collecting apologies like Infinity Stone. She got an apology from Brynn. She got an apology from Jenna. So
they some apologetic hoes so far.
Yeah, so
some apologetic hoes. More than I've ever seen.
Right?
More than I've ever seen.
Maybe Brynn is trying to challenge Erin this one time where she feels like there is an injustice, because in her mind, right? It's true. In her mind, Erin is being so unfair, and she can take her down a notch by getting the other girls on her side and saying, hey, you blew up at me for the same thing. But honestly, it wasn't the same thing, because she left the girls basically for clout and to be seen at a better restaurant, whereas Jenna left for work and for reasons of freezing and starving and dodging the hate from Jessel, So Jenna had a way more righteous battle before her, whereas Brynn in her mind felt like, Erin was not right in holding her feet more to the fire than Jenna. But at the end of the day, it's not going to work because Brynn does seem a little thirsty for the Queen Bee title. But Erin
it's age
like
too.
Yeah.
Like she comes from the age of social media. She's an influencer.
Absolutely.
So she genuinely wants that name recognition. I agree with you, Shantae. I wasn't Erin's biggest fan in episode 1, but she's growing on me. She really does seem, she's one of those people that has money, but doesn't talk about it, doesn't throw it in people's faces. She just carries herself like, okay, well, I got money. My husband got money. We've got a house over here in the Hamptons. It's not a shanty shack. The heat may not work, but this is a beautiful house. So, you can tell that she comes from a line of a certain type of New York person, just the way she carries herself. And particularly when she gets upset, she can be passive aggressive, but she doesn't lose her shit. So I'm interested to see, you made a very good point. She is coming off as more of a silent queen bee, maybe one that people gravitate towards and kind of want to keep on their good side. But they're actively trying to get on Jenna's good side in order just to kind of get some camera time. So I agree. Yes, Classy Lady said she's stealth wealth. She's like, the money's long, you don't got to talk about it.
Oh, exactly. Who's in the middle? Who's standing in the middle in the thumbnail for the Housewives? I just thought about that.
Jenna and Sai are in the
Jenna and Sai. Oh, because Sai's leaning. She's leaning against her, right? Okay.
Okay, so they're about to prep to go out today. Uba, Sai, Jessel, and Brynn are dressed up. Jenna makes an observation that they're dressed all in khaki, which they failed to do for her party. I thought that was cute.
Let me tell you something.
Jenna can throw a little bit of shade. She can throw little bars here and there when she wants.
She said they happened to manifest khaki. I don't know why they couldn't have done it for my party. I said, not manifest the khaki. She's right. Khaki. She's right.
The closest thing we got was tan. Or cheetah print from Uba.
Exactly.
Yes.
So at this lunch, we see what Shantae said. Brynn gave a dating hack. How she gets people's attention is she keeps an album of her nudes, apparently. She goes up to the cutest guy at the party and she starts looking at nudes of herself and ensures that the guy she's trying to get the attention of can see her phone. I felt like this probably could have been left in the drafts. Like that did not need to be discussed because that is thirsty ass behavior to me. To me,
yes.
I have an objection.
I love a good nude.
I do have an objection. This is kind of going. Hear me out. All right.
Okay.
Let me land the plane. This is kind of going along the energy of New York. And New York is kind of slutty white lady-esque.
We saw that on the last one.
And the way she was with the trainer, and Uba's just like, oh, he's mine. And she was just like, well, what do you want to do? She's like, I want to do you. Totally kidding. I'm feeling the same familiar, slutty New York-esque energy.
You're talking about the old Housewives.
I'm talking about Housewives of New York.
Okay.
I'm talking, yes, Ramona, Sonia, Luann, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's kind of stand to the path. It's the same energy.
Okay. It is the same, but I feel like those ladies, that's really how they work. Like, to me, Shantae, do you think that, like, this was a story that she just told as a way to, like, get attention? Or do you think that she genuinely just goes up to people and makes sure they can see her nudes? Because I don't know.
I believe her.
I kind of believe her, low key. I kind of believed her. I'm not even joking. Yeah. I kind of thought that was real. She seems like she kind of would. Yeah.
I don't know.
I
hope not, because one, I didn't ask to look at your nudes. We're all about consent over here. So they're going through how they flirt. Uba flirts so innocently, smiling and asking for directions. We saw Uba trying to flirt with that trainer. My God. Thank God she's pretty, because that lady has no game whatsoever. God bless
Zero.
her. Jenna kind of remarks that dating women is easier than men because women already know how women think, so they kind of got this insight to them. So the lunch seems to be nice and light, and everybody's having a good time until they get up and go to the restroom. We're left with Jessel, Uba, and Brynn, and of course, here's Brynn bringing up the situation about Jenna leaving. And Shantae, you mentioned it earlier. She was really like trying to drum up outrage from the ladies, right? I noticed that Jessel was just kind of like, oh, sure, it was rude, I guess. Like she
don't care
of it. Once everybody sits back down, it literally is like a 2-second wait before Brynn just immediately goes in on Aaron. She remarks that Jenna can get away with anything, nothing's ever her fault. It's Jenna Lyons. I think she says, what was it? Jenna has a blank check and I'm over here operating on credit. And without missing a beat, Jenna says, oh, so you're saying your bank account is empty? And I said, check it just a little bit, Jenna. And Brynn responds at the bank of Aaron, yes, it is. So then her and Aaron start going back and forth. Aaron is like, what are we talking about? What's going on? Brynn lays in, you hold, Jenna to a different standard. She was rude and she left your house. I just didn't come to a dinner. And Aaron responds, well, maybe I like her a little bit more. And this was when I was like, okay. All right, Aaron.
I almost choked on my wine. I said, oh, wait.
Because I loved it. And it was nothing worse. I like her a little bit more. Great.
Yeah.
I love that unexpected. That was blindsiding. That was like blindsiding. I said, what? I wrote it.
That was beautiful. That's queen bee behavior. That's what my folks always tell me. It's like some people, they play dead to see what funeral they're going to get. So you give them the little eulogy. She's like, all right, you want to act like I don't like you? I like Jenna better.
I like her more. Classic Housewives white lady shade. And
that was, I can eat it up. Love it.
Like, play
Loved
dead.
it.
See the funeral you're going to get. Go ahead.
So Jenna attempts to calm the tension and she's like, oh, well, it's because I'm cute. And this is where Brynn remarks, it's because you're Jenna Lyons. I don't have as much to offer as Jenna Lyons. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, well, this is true. Like, I still don't know what you do, but Jenna Lyons' resume is long. So then she starts talking. This is where I lose her because Housewife has this thing that the longer that they try to defend their stance on why they're mad at something they shouldn't be mad at, they just start going in all different directions and it doesn't make sense anymore. Brynn says, you're talking about the equivalent of me stepping on your dog's foot to her shooting your dog or something like that. And Aaron's like, what are we talking about? Dog? Like, where did dogs come into play? Nobody understands what this is. Jessel opens her mouth and probably should have stayed quiet because she said, well, you can't please everybody. And immediately the energy to Sai said, well, you aren't pleasable at all. So before we move into Jessel getting beat up, what did you think about Brynn randomly bringing this conversation back up for some camera time? Love.
I feel like everything is. I can't say everything because we're only a couple episodes in. So far, it does seem as though I don't know if I should give her the producer hat. Is it too early? I gotta wait.
The whole cast. I mean, I would say she's the one.
Are you feeling that? I'm kind of feeling that. Yeah, I kind of feel like she's like halfway here with the producer hat. She got maybe like one or two more episodes where I see her kind of like congulating things up. It's petty. I really think that. Okay, this is what kind of irritates me about Brynn wanting to come at Jenna. A, it's ridiculous, but B, you weren't even there like that. Like,
Exactly.
so that's why I'm like, I gotta put my cape down a little bit. Like, it'd be different if it was Sai or Uba. Uba seems like I thought Uba would be the one that's kind of leading it more because she's kind of the first one to seem like she had the issue in that sense. So it does seem like it's too much energy for something you weren't present for. That kind of irks me with Housewives. When you want to go so hard on something you weren't even there. That's like the worst situation. You like kind of Giselle and Kenya do that a lot. They're paying the pictures, they weren't even in the room. It's like, girl, you didn't even film that day, but they're the most offended by it. So I don't know. It was interesting, but she came straight in for the kill.
I agree.
Yeah.
Dante?
Yes, I was annoyed at Brynn here again. Yes, because she wasn't there. She didn't see that the girls had already kind of gotten Jenna together. But I think she was trying to drum up her support, and I think especially because Sai was silent, that is gonna be something that I think puts some cracks in the friendship too. Because I heard that they already fell out, even though they were the two, going off to the other restaurant together, trying to form their little,
Freaking
alliance.
frag.
But
Yep.
yes, Sai was acting like she was too hungry, I guess, to understand what Brynn was trying to say, and Uba also was like, "Yeah, no, I don't get it."
Yeah.
But for Sai to not try to jump in for Brynn and see her side, that made me wonder, like, okay, how close are they? And were they playing it up for the cameras at first, or is Sai not that loyal of a girlfriend? It made me have some questions because, like I said, they were all doing the mischief together, and started off saying that they were friends, but when Brynn was trying to clearly drum up the support, Sai was just crickets, So
I view Sai. You mentioned, I think everybody has kind of mentioned, like Jenna Lyons is kind of the person that you want to get on the good side, and because she's Jenna Lyons, as off base as Brynn was, and as much as she didn't make sense, she was spot on when she said, "I don't have as much to offer as Jenna Lyons."
Oh,
and
totally.
in terms of this cast right now, she's absolutely correct. And Erin, seeing the way that she carries herself, very much is probably held in very high esteem in certain social circles. So I think Sai, being that she is an influencer, being that she works in fashion, being that connections are kind of her bread and butter, it makes sense for her to not want to piss off two people who have name notoriety and who run in certain social circles, who are getting interviews. Jenna Lyons was on The View a couple of weeks ago, right before this aired. She's taking pictures with Beyonce. She's styled different people. Like, Jenna Lyons is a big deal. So I've heard people say and see people say that she's boring or she's X, Y, and Z. She's not a good fit for the show. Like, I think she's fantastic fit for what New York is.
I think she's great.
Fashion forward, very
great addition.
very up-and-coming. So this whole situation, it was just like, Brynn, I don't know what you think is going to happen, but if you think you're trying to start these petty dramas, which I'm glad the drama is petty, because the last couple of franchises that we've got, drama has not been petty in many, many years. So light shade about pajamas is very welcome.
Yeah.
But I think Brynn needs to course correct very quickly, or she's going to find herself out on an island alone, because these other girls seem to like, we're only going to push up to a certain point, and then we're going to back off because that's Jenna Lyons. we're not doing that. And then yes, some girl said, Green Girl said, or no, MJ, Jenna was at Solange's wedding. Like, Jenna Lyons was at Solange's wedding. Where were you, Brynn, when Solange was getting married? Where was anybody? All right. So Jessel, they're going in on Jessel being a brat, essentially, tearing down Jenna's gift, complaining. Jessel keeps defending, no, I was just trying to have fun with it. And Sai surprisingly jumps in and said, you've complained about everything. You've complained about the heat. You complained about your room. You're complaining about the ugly pajamas. Like, you just won't stop. And the girls are really, really going in on her. One thing that I will give Jessel, I think she's just delusional enough to where she doesn't get emotional. Because we've seen other housewives like, oh, why is everybody getting up on me? But like, this girl just sat stone-faced like, huh? I don't get it.
Like Ramona.
Like Ramona. Good for her. Mm-hmm. You stand in that delusion.
Yes.
She refuses to apologize, but she says, Jenna, it was a nice gift, and I will gladly exchange it for something more in my style.
Let me tell you something. I wanted to take my earrings. I said, wait, what did she just say? That was so crazy. I wanted to come through my screen. Look.
She genuinely does not understand the things that come out of her mouth, which is great. That makes a great house.
Man, up until this episode, I thought I liked everybody, but this, for some reason, I don't know, the way she's been in this house, says she might be the first one that's on the outs for me. I don't know. She's an interesting personality. You have to know, you got to be able to read the room. You're going to rub way too many feathers if you don't read the room and have some type of self-awareness. You have to. Or you're going to be like Ramona.
Very much. Well, I mean, Ramona lasted 12 seasons, so.
This is true.
We'll see. Dante, would you have popped her if she said that to you?
The only two things that would have kept me from doing something to Jessel would be one, Jesus, because God is working on me, and two, it would be the fact that Jessel is from the UK, and I have spent some time in the UK. I have family there. I did a semester at Cambridge, and a lot of people in the UK, they're very dry and blunt like that. So I might have chalked it up to her culture because, like, she really
Oh
does
no!
not
Oh no,
see
child!
things
I don't
in a
care.
in a different way, So yeah,
I don't do culture
she
excuses. I don't do culture excuses. Absolutely not. No.
I will say, as annoying as Jessel has been about this, that little line right there made me howl. I chuckled, and I said, "Okay, we're good. She can stick around because she's gonna be. I feel like she's going to grate on people's nerves without knowing what she's doing. Like she's gonna get on a
Absolutely.
lot of people's skin, and I love it. I'm okay with that. We need that.
That is true.
Okay, so final scene of the night. They are all getting ready for dinner. Later that day, the ladies decide that Jenna dresses too casually, so they want to kind of dress her up because it seems like everybody's really wanting to dress up tonight. So Uba comes in and she says, "Jenna, I've got this dresser. You're going to wear it." After a little bit of prodding, they were able to get Jenna is it, and she looks great to me. She looks fantastic. I think the dress was a great fit. She could have done some with her hair a little bit, but hey, that's her aesthetic. But she mentioned, she was like, "I used to dress like this all the time, but I did it because I thought that, that's what men wanted from me. And I did it strictly to appease men and society standards." She goes, "Now I dress comfortably." And I don't think Jenna dresses bad. She dresses very chic, but it is more cozy, comfort, jeans, t-shirt, paired with a little bit of labels. Like, you're not going to see her in a stiletto pump and a skin tight light gown. That's just not Jenna Lyons. But she looked good, and all the ladies look good actually. Who do you think was the best? Ooh, Jessel, right? I was about to say who was the best and worst dressed, but Jessel was the worst.
Absolutely. What? Continue. Sorry. Go ahead.
That little. I don't know. She was bitching about the lingerie being a bad fit, and then she comes out in like the box and like that skirt. I'm like, what? This is the good fit? I'm very confused. You look like a rhombus. Like, you literally have 8 sides to this outfit. I didn't understand. And she works in fashion, and I really want to know if she's going to lose her job after this because I haven't seen a moment of fashion.
Yeah.
God bless her, but sure, keep telling yourself.
Horrible.
This.
Oh
Horrible.
my gosh.
Fashions, it's like the women were disappointing a little bit, especially if you watch What Happens Live. Sai admitted that even though she had brought all the 50 11 bags, she said she tried everything on and she wore 6 of the outfits that she brought.
And those were the best ones she picked?
What? 6?
Oh.
Exactly.
She wore 6?
She wore 6, and then you saw she re-wore the lingerie.
Oh yeah, that irritated me.
I was like, great, that's cute, but you did that. Yeah.
It's cute, but no, girl, you better bust out one of them 8,000 outfits from those 13,000 bags that Jenna was carrying on her back up the steps. You better wear every single thing in them bags if I helped you up the steps.
Yeah,
exactly. We said that last week, Shantae. We said that like all these bags, and she's probably she wore a sweater and like a pair of black slacks. Like, my gosh. Yeah. Like,
it's a fashionisha with no fashion. How dreadful.
A fashion show with no fashions.
How dreadful.
Shout out to Dwight.
Yeah. Yes. Owes me $4,000. So they start playing 2 Truths and a Lie. Some of these are like, okay, and some of them are shocking. Erin has never had sex at a Knicks game, but she did fuck in a senator's office. And we see her in the confessional calling her husband like, "Hey, did I ever tell you the story about how I had sex in a senator's office?" And he's like, "Yes, you did, but the kids are in the car and you're on speakerphone." So let's put that on pause. Sai says she loves threesomes and likes being choked. And I was like, absolutely. I love that for her. She looks like that for her. That little fiery Latina. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. Brynn is talking about shit that she's probably never done for the sake of being shocking. And there's, like I said, there's just something very disingenuous about her. A person who has to talk about sex that much, like in every conversation, it's like, I don't feel like you're having it that much. Because like,
Did you guys hear in the game? Was the sex the topic? Because I missed that. I thought it was just the usual 3 truths and a lie. Was it sex edition?
Aaron
It was
started
sex
with sex.
edition, yeah.
Okay, I missed that.
Everybody just followed suit.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I was like, it's sexy edition. Okay, continue.
I don't know. But I don't know. Jenna said somebody fell asleep on her, which
Taking it to the grave. That should go to the grave,
again,
Jenna.
keep that in the drafts.
Man.
Uba had sex in Central Park. This is what got me. Jessel admits that she had a popsicle stuck inside her vagina. And the only thing I could think was, that is how you get ants.
I was like, Paige and Dr. Jackie. Paige.
Quad, Toya, Dr. Simone. Like, why?
Look.
Why are you putting a popsicle?
I'm intrigued. First of all, if I was to do it, I've already thought about it. I would want it to be, I think a push pop would be perfect because it's small and like it's not a lot to get down to. So I was like, oh, push pop edition. So I was already, the moment she said that, I was like, or maybe an ice cream sandwich cut in half.
An ice cream sandwich? But what if you're lactose intolerant?
Okay, well, you know what? Push pop. We're gonna stick with maybe you should just stick with like, I'll get back to you. We'll circle back. That was impressive. I was like, there's so many little pearl clutching moments in this episode.
But then surprisingly, Aaron asks her, oh, was that with your husband? And she says, no. Like, my God, you continue to embarrass this man on national TV. You continue to embarrass this man. So everybody, they're getting ready to go outside. They're struggling to light the fire pit. Brynn can't figure out how to open up that smart fridge. She keeps saying, Siri, Alexa, open the fridge. She remarks, white people have the weirdest shit. This scene was funny housewife shit. Like,
yeah, loved it.
Around trying to figure out stuff. And I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this.
So cute.
While they're doing all this, Aaron, Jenna, and Sai are having a conversation. The conversation is, Aaron and Jenna are talking about their love of dollar stores. And we love a good Dollar Tree moment. We love this. There's so much fun. Yeah. And Sai kind of opens up and is like, I can tell none of you have ever been poor before. And Aaron's kind of laughing, and I was like, I can tell Aaron has never been poor. But Jenna immediately is kind of like, oh, okay, and is listening to the story. And so as, Sai's opening up, apparently, they didn't grow up with a lot of money. Her dad purchased their Christmas tree from the Dollar Tree. Been there, the little less than 2 foot, 3 foot trees that has already installed on it. I get it. You get it. Mm-hmm. But I really appreciated her there. She kind of opened up about how she didn't grow up with money. Her mother basically was renting a room from somebody else and couldn't have her live with her. Her dad was always moving. So as a result, she was moving everywhere. So in this moment, Sai has kind of been really kind of uppity and a little like entitled about stuff. But in this moment, I was like, oh, okay, that is kind of a little bit of a facade because you grew up essentially having nothing. She mentions that she was emancipated at 16. She moved out on her own and just basically worked her butt off through college to get her to where she is now. And she's a housewife, making her own money, making her name for herself. So I have to say that I appreciated the honesty and the vulnerability inside this moment because we haven't gotten that in the first couple of episodes. So this episode ends with the ladies asking Jenna if she's staying. She says that she is, and everybody kind of has a good laugh, and the episode's done, neatly wrapped up. And that's the end of the drama for now, because we see next week some shit's about to pop off. So, Shantae, what were your thoughts on this end little sequence that we got?
Oh, I loved hearing Sai's backstory. I really got to understand where she was coming from because I just kept thinking she was just overcompensating in a kind of annoying way for, things she might have lacked in the past. But just the fact that, she really struggled so much and really did most things for herself made me see why, she is so independent and wants things on her own terms in her own way. Even the toilet paper, because there were a lot of things that were beyond her control because of all the resources she lacked for so long. So I really felt for her, and I was rooting for her. And I liked how Brynn also connected to her story and kind of opened up about her own struggles with her grandmother, and how she kind of manifested the life that she has as well. And it just made me think of the power of just faith and believing in yourself, because if the whole world was denying you of everything, like she even said she had to like drop out of college and all these things, and she just constantly kept picking herself back up and not giving up and just believing in her power to rise above her circumstance. And it worked for her, it worked for Brynn. And I know that it's not always a simple thing as not believing in yourself, but believing in yourself and having faith does help. So
Absolutely.
I really like that. Yeah.
I agree. Love?
I thought it was a good way to end the episode. The nice, relatable moments are refreshing when they aren't arguing, when no one's mad. I thought it was cute, even like you were saying, Jamie, just the banter, just the innocent banter is good. Them talking about the fireplace. Her, again, slutty behavior. Brynn flirting with someone's husband. Let me tell you something.
Listen.
New York
They love
is
a good
true. They love a good husband flirt. Brynn, she's been doing her studying. That girl has sticky notes. I'm telling you, I can see right through it. She is keeping New York alive. I love my New Yorkers. Shout out to all my New Yorkers. I thought it was super, super refreshing. It gives you a little bit more. Honestly, every moment where each housewife has their little bit of their background, or so far in the season, they've been really intriguing. They're interesting. They're relatable. Jenna's background, Sai's background. So far, I think it's been great. I thought it was a great way to end the show.
I agree. Okay, so guys, the lines are open. I believe we've got the link that is posted. Call in, give us your thoughts on this. We definitely, since this is a brand new show, we want to hear some of our callers. We don't have any callers in the queue right now. We'll leave it open for a couple of moments as we do our last little bit. But I agree with everything you guys said. I think that the show has done a great job of giving us a little bit of background on each of the ladies so far. We've gotten to see a little bit of Sai. We've got to see a little bit of Jenna. Erin kind of gave us her little, New York princess background and where her family is from.
Right.
Next week, it looks like we're getting some of Uba. So I enjoy this. I will say there are times. What I really, really liked about Sai in this is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that we've ever had an Afro-Latina on any of the Housewives franchises outside of Miami. And even in Miami, I don't think we have an Afro-Latina. I love that Sai, she's very much, this is where I'm from, this is my culture, I'm from Brooklyn. She's got that attitude. She reminds me a little bit of like Rosie Perez.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
He's got that little fire.
That's a good one.
I really like her. I liked her. She was on Watch What Happens Live the other night. That you mentioned it. I really, really like her. I think she's great. I really hope that as they introduce more of these ladies, that we get more of that authenticity. Brynn is the only one that I'm a little concerned we may not get a real story from. So we'll see how that goes. So it looks like we have one caller. Let's go ahead and bring them in before we wrap this up. Caller, who do we got? Not Heather Gay. Adamicio.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing tonight?
Hello.
So
How you been, Fave?
I've been doing good, Fave. I love to see you up here hosting. You are doing it, honey.
Thank you.
Let's give a hand clap for the host.
What do we got? Because I know you got some thoughts on this one.
Yeah, so okay, I want to start with Jessel in the dress, the lingerie. I just feel like if she didn't think it looked good, she should have never came down the stairs with it on, like, period. I'm certain that it was a mirror. I'm certain that it was a mirror up there. I'm certain that it was one up there. And I know she looked in that damn mirror and seen that damn dress was not her style. Instead of coming down the stairs with that awkward ass stance and verbally ripping it to shreds, she could have just left it upstairs. Like, girl, She needs to minimize those insecurities and just be a little gracious. I'm just saying.
Very true. Very true. Not the
And
awkward stance.
The awkward stance, honey. And if
It's
Jenna
true.
would have told them that they needed to be quiet and that she had a work call in the morning, like, they would have been mad still. So it's just like, really, Jenna was kind of damned if she do, damned if she don't.
Amen.
Now, as far as Brynn is concerned, with her and Aaron's little beef, I cannot stand Aaron, by the way, that knock off Jennifer Aniston.
Oh my pearls.
I do understand where Brynn is coming from, though, like, because even though it is two different situations, all she wants is them to keep the same energy. Like, you were crying about them leaving and going to a restaurant, but like, you let Jenna get a pass just because, like, you like her just a little bit more. I mean, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, no, it doesn't work like that. If you're gonna take me to task, you need to be taking Jenna to task for leaving your house in the middle of the night.
Ooh. Like a thief in the night.
Come on now.
You don't think that her literally saying, "Hey, I have a work call at 6:30. I want y'all to keep having fun, so I'm gonna go somewhere else." Like Brynn literally lied and said, "Sorry, I have diarrhea. I can't come," and then went to another restaurant, took pics, and posted it on Instagram. Like, I really don't think that that's the same thing.
It's not the same thing, but I'm just saying though, like, if you're gonna be mad about one thing, you got to be mad about the other two.
Oh, and Aaron was. She was passive aggressive as shit to Jenna.
Yeah, but in Jenna's defense, though, they have to realize Jenna's almost 60 years old. Like,
I'm not gonna let y'all do Jenna like that. I'm not gonna let y'all do Jenna like that.
I'm just saying that lady is not like Ramona and them. Like, Ramona and them was like, party. Like, this is a different 60-year-old woman. Like, that lady is trying to be in bed by 9:30, so she can get up at 6 o'clock and go to work.
She actually had a job. Ramona and Sonia and them did not.
Exactly.
And also, allegedly, as Dorinda said, they were passing out lines every chance they got. So I don't think they're doing it on this franchise.
Allegedly.
No.
Allegedly. Everybody knows.
And another thing one last thing before I leave.
What is it?
Started out kind of being my fave, and now I'm starting not to like her so much.
Ooh, why is that?
Just the way she was carrying on about Jenna, like, the age shaming and doing, like, calling her geriatric and all this. Like, side girl, calm down. You're not the star of the show. You're not nowhere near being the star of the show.
Like, not nowhere near.
Not nowhere near. Like, girl,
who's your fave right now, Denisio? Who is your fave right now in this moment?
In this moment, I would have to say probably Uba and Jenna.
Oh, okay.
I love Uba.
Good
She
choice.
put down a little bit for me this episode because of the way she was going hard on Jenna, but she redeemed herself at the end, so we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But overall, I
love
like them collectively as a group. I feel like this reboot was needed. It's like refreshing, like a summer cocktail. It's everything.
That Jenna Lyons won't drink. All right, Denisio, well, thank you. Thank you so much, babe. It was good to talk to you. You have a good night, and we will talk more next week.
Yes, have a good night, you guys.
All right, guys. Well, it looks like that is it. Thank you, guys, for joining us tonight. Thank y'all for the comments. Y'all were popping. It seems like we've got a lot of people that are enjoying the show. Some of y'all have said you haven't watched it yet, but you're going to start it. Meg said she didn't know that, Sai was Afro-Latina. Yes, her last name is Da Silva, and I think she's Dominican. Don't quote me on that, but I need to double check on that.
She's Brazilian and Black.
Brazilian and Black, absolutely. I love it. I love, like, the little pops of diversity that they have on here. I'm really genuinely enjoying this cast. And Love and Shantae, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your Tuesday to sit and talk with me. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And I love that I am being able to be on this panel with you guys.
Yes. And make sure you guys eat your popsicles.
Oh, God, not the push pop. That's too small. All right, guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to The Lean. You have our social media handles on the screen. Please follow us on social media. Support the other projects that we're doing, whether it be our Twitter, whether it be some other recaps that we got. Everybody that sits up here on this panel has multiple hustles that we're all trying to get out there. So please support. If you like one of us, please like all of us. And stay tuned. Check out our channel for The Real Housewives of Atlanta. We're getting ready to start Beverly Hills whenever it airs. We're getting ready to start Potomac. We're currently doing Love and Hip Hop. We're currently doing Bell Collective. We have so much. Check out the channel. You're going to find something that you like. So until next time, everybody have a fantastic week. Have a safe week. I may not be here next Tuesday. Next Tuesday is my birthday, so it is dependent on how many drinks I have, whether or not I will. But I will let Cortez know on Monday. All right, guys. I love y'all. Y'all have a great night. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Thank you.
See you, everybody.
See ya.
Cortez, you gonna end that video, babe?
Aw, see you guys.
Okay,
Happy birthday. Oh, it's in the chat.